Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope everyone had an interesting weekend. We had some like pea-sized hail and things like that coming, but that's about it. So, um, so today we're gonna chat, do whatever we want, right? So relax and chat, talk about the new fan, talk about the gears, talk about basically what ended up happening in this whole thing. But I'm gonna wait for people to get here first. Hello, viewer. Welcome. So, I'm kind of waiting for people to roll in because I didn't schedule this live. So, and we're going to talk about the turbo fan, and we're going to talk about what we're doing, how we are approaching this new endeavor. Well, an old endeavor, but with a new path, using this new gear system here. So, and a nice looking new fan so you can actually see what's going on. You know what I mean? So, that's going to look good spinning. That'll give us some more visual indication of, just to basically when I'm spinning it up, you guys are watching it. You're like, okay, well, it looks like a blur. So what? It just gives you some. It's stylish. I like it. What are you gonna do? So hopefully it doesn't come apart. Looks like it's okay though. This is PETG, by the way. Hey, how's it going, Sags? Things are going okay. Just getting myself reoriented for what's what's going on here. And when the first set of gears, it was basically it had the number of teeth it had on it for more of a softer, spin as you would want in a gear like that, especially the helical type, because it makes the transition from one gear face to the other a bit smoother. So that was the original design. So what that ended up doing, and I am in my I don't care what I look like phase, and most of you are probably like, you're always like that. So we know what we went through with this setup here. I print this out of PETG right now. I can put that motor on and I can spin it up and it'll run perfect. Have it printed in metal and it doesn't work. Because their offsets were way different. And I took so much. I mean, this works fine. Right here. I've taken so much off of it. It's working just fine. And if I kept working at it, I'm betting I could probably get it to go. But, see, because it locks right into the gear face. Right there. The only problem is their machine made it to where I have this gap because of their offsets. But if I 3D print this, as you've seen before, it's fine. Goes right in there. Works perfect, And it's shameful. KJ, hi, welcome. How you doing? Did everything go okay with your daughter? Yes. Okay, so let me do the backstory on this so that everybody knows what's going on. A couple of years ago, she had a seizure out of nowhere. We didn't know what was going on. she fell. She hit her head on the desk, and she was seizing. I was holding her while she was going through the seizure, and I didn't know what was going to happen. So I'm holding my daughter, and I don't know if she's dying. So that's what I went through at that point. After that, I was concerned. She stopped. She was breathing. She was unconscious. And the medics came, and she sat up, and she kind of acted like herself in a sense, like what's going on, what happened. She was smiling and everything, but she continued to have a brain bleed. So what ended up happening is I went to the ER, and then ended up having to travel a couple hours down to Valley Children's Hospital, and take her. I was there with her for I think 5 days before they determined that it was a cavernoma, which is typically not fatal. They're typically benign. Usually nothing happens with them. But this one started to bleed. So basically what ended up happening is she had that cavernoma caused a bleed in the brain, and that's why she had the seizure. So I'm not going to go into the details of what I had to go through in the ER, because I thought I was going to lose my daughter. So thankfully, by the grace of God, she is fine. And I don't say that like politicians, okay? I have faith, and that's why she's here. And she hasn't had a seizure since for about 2 years since it first happened. But I have to go down every year to get this fascinating MRI done, so that they can tell me if it's changed, if it's gotten any bigger, if there's any issues, that kind of thing. Luckily, she hasn't had, and this is like a blessing, she hasn't had a seizure since the initial seizure. But in the beginning, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why she was having a seizure. All I knew is her sister said she fell down, hit her head on the desk. I'm thinking that's what caused it. So I'm thinking, this is it. I'm holding my daughter for the last time. It was hard. So I get reminded every year of that. Every time I have to go do these scans. So yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. So thankfully, she's okay, and everything's kind of getting back to normal as far as life, things like that. My youngest daughter just texted me and said, "Dad, it says we don't have Game Pass." Impossible. What do you mean you don't have Game Pass? For the love of God. Okay, text David. Tell him to put the money. How much is it? No, how much is it? Huh? Alright. Tell him I said to do it because for some reason I paid for somebody's Game Pass. I don't know who it was. Was it Eurostags? Huh? Yeah, go ahead. I'm not on it right now. So go ahead. Don't you hate it when a charge comes out of your card and you think, wow, I paid for Game Pass. And it's not paid for, and you're like, well, who the hell did I just pay for? Kevin, welcome. Or goodbye. I don't know what you mean by peace. Thanks. Anyway, yeah. So I went through all that. And again, I'm reminded every year what happens. So we're past that. We're going to the Turbo Fan. Everything's fine. I appreciate everybody who kind of, I appreciate the prayers. I appreciate the people just out there knowing, and people going, you know what, we feel bad for that guy and the daughter and what they're going through. Just that alone is priceless to me, because it shows that there's still some humanity out there, even though it doesn't look like it sometimes. But back to the fan. So because I have a ductwork I can kind of take apart, because it's the way I designed it, I'm going to remove all these screws when I'm done printing my other fan casing, because I'm printing the bearing casing to hold this, because I didn't want to disassemble this fan. So I'm going to remove that one and this system. It'll all still be something I can use. I want to still continue with this style, and hopefully get a better, you know, some kind of American-based, I mean, or CNC'd, you know, but it's just a matter of, it's always about money, you guys know that. But had they printed this properly, they would have known. And I suspect, since they have this equipment and that they're a 3D printing business, that they have engineers. And because they have engineers, you would think they would measure and go, oh, well, our printer did this, it didn't really work out like it was supposed to, you know. And because if this is supposed to be more dimensionally accurate than FDM printing, then they obviously did something wrong, because I've ground the living hell out of this thing down just trying to get the sun gear in far enough, and now I got to take some off the planetaries to get it to work. I'm going to get it to work. I'm going to get it to work if I end up having teeth that are 1 millimeter high or less. But I'm going to get the damn thing to work. And that's why I have made this system the way that it has been designed. It is because I'm able to now undo this ductwork, pull the fan system out, drop in a new fan system with a new gearbox, which this one is the rear mounted one. So this one's going to mount behind it, behind the fan stator. And then the engine's new mount drives it with the carrier, like so. They won't be that far apart, obviously, but I'm just kind of trying to show you. The reason why I went with this is because I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to push this thing past the RPM limits I was getting with the PET versions of this on that fan, I want to get past that. So I went ahead and made this. And I made it straight geared, so I didn't have 2 clamshells I had to worry about. And it bolts directly to the stator casing on the back of this fan. So it works out. I mean, it works pretty good. So even at slow roll, you can see. And the holes on this thing are designed for these 10 millimeter bearings, and I plan on putting them all the way down. I'm going to stack them, because the carrier, I'm going to stack them down each one of the holes, as many as I can get in there. And the reason why is because the carrier slides onto the inside of this, and you're going, well, that's 3D printed, right? The carrier, so it's gonna basically be really small. But the only thing that's printing on the carrier legs is the outside, the gap between the carbon fiber rod and the bearing itself, to make sure there's a tight fit. Because the carrier has those 4 legs on it, but a carbon fiber rod goes all the way through each one. So as this spins, and then of course you've got one of these attachments that attaches to the motor itself. It attaches to the shaft on the end of this motor here of the 6374, and that'll attach to the carrier, and then this will be indexed all the way through the drive shaft, which would be about here, and the fan, which is attached to here through the stator casing. So I kind of hope that makes some sense. But I'm printing the motor mount that goes on the rear of this right now. After that, I just had to print out the stator casing, and that's it. You just throw everything together, and the motor pops onto it. You index it onto the tooth, or right here with that carry. You can see that groove there. So you screw in the index. After you seat it down into the system, then you basically wind it up and run the set screws down, and then you end up having the powertrain attached to the whole system, and that attaches to the back of the fan casing. So the legs have been extended out and have bolt holes on them so that they can interface with the back of the fan casing on the fan itself. So I don't know if you can see that too well, but there's points on the back side of this behind the casing where this new mount bolts into, plus it indexes into these slots that I have right here, and it bolts down. So you have that. And then the fan has an index rod. It's a hexagonal rod that I've got that goes through all of the whole system, the shaft, the shaft, the fan, as you can see, and the bearing, or the gear. So what you really want is since it's a tight, sort of like a tap-in fit for that, what you want to do is basically tap it in until you have that little bit at the top left, and that's where the cone goes on, and you just kind of tap that on. Or you could even glue that on and then, make it where you could pull it off by hand or whatever. But the idea is to put it together and make sure that it doesn't fly apart. So we have the casing. Actually, we have the bearing here, and then we have the bearing keeper that's another new addition to the system, and that's to make sure that the bearing, since the fan's connected here, what we don't want is it to just sit down into the stator casing. We want it to sit down into it, and then the bearing's locked into place. So yeah, the bearing stator will have to be, you'd have to break that piece of plastic out if you ever wanted to change the bearing, but you could just, these are high speed long run bearings, and I have high heat bearings as well. So and I've lubricated them with the Interflon. Or Interflon, however you want to say it, I don't care. And that will ensure that the fan doesn't move forward. Now these are for 3mm screws, right? These holes here. I don't know if you can see it. There's 3mm holes here which keep the shaft bound to the back of the bearing at the lower half, so that the fan can spin freely on the outside or the inside. This ensures that basically the entire system doesn't move forward from the force of the fan pulling it forward, and it doesn't pull away from the motor or bind gears. So that keeps that fan stationary. As long as the fan is stationary and it can't move forward or backward with the force, you lose the fault. Then it basically won't cause any issues with gear alignment. Now, gear alignment, I don't have to really worry about with these, because these can actually slide in and out a millimeter or two, and I wouldn't have to worry about it. I could even make this entire casing deeper, but the idea was that after the casing goes on, it's sealed. It does have some vents on it, but I'm able to put the paste in there, and it'll stay, lubricated. Giggity. I had to say it at least once. So that's kind of where we're at. I wanted to make sure I kind of caught everybody up on what we were doing. This was an absolute heartbreak to think that I'm going to get something that prints at a higher resolution than my Bamboo lab. You're going to tell me that your 3D metal printer, your 3D metal printer has less accuracy than my Bamboo X1 carbon? That's all I need to hear, man. So it's either that or you've got engineers that don't know what they're doing, and they're in China. So it's they must have got their printer from Temu or something. Um, all I know is, if you're going to run a business where you're going to sell stuff that is going to be 3D printed for somebody, and you have a specific engineering goal, um, I, you do it yourself. Because I'm going to be, from experience, I can tell you that you design your workflow based on key factors. The main key factor is your machine's output, what machine you're using, how many machines you've got, and their purpose. Those are your key factors in the shop. Your software has to be able to give you those results you need. I'm using Fusion 360. It's a great program. People keep going, oh, I like SolidWorks better. It's like, well, to each his own. But the biggest separation between design and manufacturing in this instance, having to use PCBWay as a printer for me, is that their machine, whatever its offsets were way out of tolerance. I mean, it was way out of tolerance to be, producing parts for this. And I may have been able to compensate for that if I knew what machine they were using. And then I could have designed the part to fit the constraints of that machine. That's what so less teeth, a little bit more, liberal on the tolerances. That's kind of why I was really pissed off, because that's like $114 of, kick you in the face, just right there, No, which doesn't seem like a lot to most people, but for me it is. So yeah, that's what happened in the middle. I may end up eventually getting this to a point where we can use it, and then I will just basically run that fan again. And I'll print another, an extra cowling, extra duct work in the process, so that we have it on hand. So let me try to read some chat here. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything. Yeah, I can see that. Wow, that flies. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I asked them about their tolerances, and I basically said, you're running a 3D printer, you're doing FDM, you're looking at tolerances of about 0, depending on the diameter that you're working with, anywhere from 0.1 to 0, or 0.1 to 0.2 for fitting. And that also depends on the material, because PETG is much more forgiving when it comes to fit and function. So you can get the tolerances pretty close on PETG depending on which brand it is. So when you're designing something, you either have to go, especially if it's something you want to do in metal, you kind of have to go straight into metal manufacturing. You go straight from fusion, go into manufacturing, set up your machine. That's ideally what you're supposed to be doing right out of fusion. But in this case, they're like, okay, give it to us in a step file. Well, it's not going to, I can export it as a step file, but if you don't interpret it correctly, or if your interpreter messes it up, even by a millimeter, or there's some dimensional values because of how you program things versus how we program things, so on and so forth. There's the language barrier aspect, that kind of thing. You end up getting a situation where you're sending out a print that's perfect for your FDM, would be perfect for your CNC if you had one, but you're sending it out and hoping that they actually are going to produce the product correctly. It's a coin toss, and it shouldn't be. It should, at that price, it shouldn't be. Honestly, they should say, if this didn't work, we'll figure out why and we'll fix it or we'll say you have to make this modification and then we'll do it again for you. That's what they should do. They shouldn't just take your money and run, because it may only be $114, but you'd be damn sure on principle I'll sell something and fly my ass out there and have a word with them, even if I don't friggin' understand what those words are. Somebody there speaks English, you know it. But so I've decided basically to move forward with my original idea, and that was to drive it from the back. Since I knew I was going to have to make another gear set, I was like, okay, well, I need to push this thing past the RPMs. Why? Even if the gear set looks ugly and could be done better, you know, so what? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. When it comes to aesthetics, when it comes to, you know, we're going to print it in metal, so we need to make sure it can oil itself or be lubricated and control heat, that kind of thing. Right now, we're just trying to get the RPMs of this fan where it needs to be and see if this fan withstands the RPMs. If it does, then we know that it's a viable solution. Under load, outside, carrying weight, moving around, we also want to test that. So if the PETG fan makes it, then now we have a 3D printed machine, basically, that doesn't require any metal parts other than the bearings, which are readily available. You don't have to print them. You can just buy them. Couplers like this, you can just buy them. So the idea is, you know, and motors like this, you can just buy them. That's the whole idea. The idea was off the shelf. And I don't want to lose that aspect of it. I don't want to lose that aspect of the whole project. And that was you, me, anybody else. We don't need a machine shop to get this done. You can do it with a 3D printer and off-the-shelf parts. That was the goal. I know what everyone's thinking. Well, you have bigger projects that involve something you fly around on. That's me. I could triple the size of this fan and then go have everything CNC'd at a shop that I trust, if I can afford it. But right now, I'm basically making a drone or an engine for a jet. I'm making a modular RC turbine. Now you can get, once it's finished with all the STL files and everything's proven, you can print it out. You can get the components off of Amazon, and you can run it. That was the whole point. It was to support the hobby. It was to design something new that was fun. Because there's a lot of people out there that like to hate on this, going, well, this isn't a practical design for a drone. Who gives a shit about practical if you're having a good time? You know? And you get a lot of people that hate on you for that. That's a horrible design and this and that and everything else. And it's just ridiculous. It's like, dude, waste somebody else's time. Just waste somebody else's time. You know, if this isn't for you, fine. You know, totally fine. I don't care. What I care about, if there's people that are into this hobby, they like to create, they like to make things, and I can give them an engine they can print out for a cool project, no matter what that project is. I don't care if you're lifting a poodle off the ground for a science project. It's fun. It's fun. And it's cool. You saw the Shrike drone, same principle, only smaller. But I wanted a 3D printed engine. I wanted something I could take off the shelf components, make something that had some serious power, and put it out there for everyone. And they could all do it. Yeah, I thank you for that. I mean, I don't know how revolutionary it is as far as Because I'm sure that there's stuff we're not allowed to see as civilians, right? I remember when I was in the military, I saw a few things. I was like, we have that? I'm like, so why can't we get it at Walmart? It's like the government has things. Let's just say. But when we're talking about a hobby, when we're talking about off-the-shelf components, when we're talking about being able to play with some cool toys that don't land you in federal prison, because they belong to the government, then yeah, I am trying to revolutionize the industry in that way. We're talking about a fan printed on my desktop with a skateboard motor that can push 55 pounds of thrust for a 7-pound unit with the batteries. Okay? Think of that thrust to weight ratio per engine. Think about that. Now you put that on a drone, you times it by 4. The body's not going to add too much more weight. So what kind of drone do you have? Heavy lift, right? Can be super fast. So that's what I'm doing. If you want to, you can take a big F-22 model or an F-35 model that you build out of foam or whatever else you want, and you can drop this in there. It's 3D printed, doesn't weigh too much. So if you put it in a foam body that you carved out of your own hands, or you fiberglassed one together to fit this component, then now you got a cool plane that's putting out tons of thrust. I see that Harrier video all the time from the other guy. He did really beautiful work on the Harrier. And I don't remember the name of his channel, but he used a very big $5,000 Schubler motor in it. Okay? $5,000 for an EDF, for a hobby. I feel like somebody's bending somebody over, right? So, $83 for the motor, about 100, maybe 110 for the ESC, and 2 packs. I think it was $40 for these 2 cheap 70C battery packs to make it 48 volts. I got a BEC for $6 for the receiver, and then whatever radio I want, right? And the motor, and then the 3D printed material, the bearings, what was that? $10. I got 2 of these, $5. Somewhere around there. High speed, high heat bearings. Cheap stuff. Automotive stuff. Okay, so skateboard, automotive, 3D printer, EDF madness. Okay. I can beat the Schubler in its thrust. I don't care what Schubler you throw at me. I'll beat it. And it'll be with a 3D printed engine, turbine engine, with off-the-shelf components that you can get from Amazon the next freaking day. That's what I'm talking about. That gives us way more fun, way more opportunities to design and build other things without having to bend the knee to these corporations that are like, we have this revolutionary new engine for RC hobby enthusiasts. As long as you can mortgage your freaking house. Okay, it's stupid. Single axis. What does that even mean? What did I miss? Hold on, let me read the chat a little bit. I'm not building this thing to sell it. I don't know who got that idea in their head. I'm not selling this thing. This is about, it's a collaborative thing. It really is. It's a collaboration of one because not very many people have joined me. I got PXD that's on board. I got Spider that's on board. They're giving me ideas. They've even helped me in some cases with other things. But this isn't something I'm not trying to make $1 million off of it. I'm not trying to be a billionaire for doing this. I'm just trying to be me in this and have fun. Make something new. That's what I do. I create. I want to see something new. So I'm going to make it. I'm not trying to make a new product to put out on the market. It's STL files you'll be able to get. All the products you can order from Amazon. I mean, I don't know why people... Sellable is what I kind of meant when people start to compare your designs with other and ask, what is the... Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. But the argument's still the same. It's just not directed at anyone. My point is, I'm not doing that. I'm not like trying to beat out anybody as far as... What I'm trying to do is make it affordable for people like me who want to do stuff like this, but they can't afford, like they want to fly the big planes or they want to fly the big drones. Can I perform a what in my life? That would probably be a bad idea. How many 3-letter agencies entered the chat just now? Yeah, we need more energy. We have it. The military won't let you have it. The government won't let you have it. They won't. I know. I've seen it. But they're not going to let you have it. Why? Because we have a complete fossil fuel industry, which is literally fueling the entire country right now. And to disrupt that will basically completely decimate our infrastructure as it is right now. That's all there is to it. So, realistically, yeah, we do need more energy. But what happens to everybody that comes out with a new energy source? Well, somebody dumps shit in their cranberry juice and they're dead. I mean, it's like you're almost afraid to come out with anything efficient. You're almost afraid to fight the system. I don't care. Dr. Stop. I don't know if I have heard of that. I mean, I've heard a lot of people like making like garage nuclear, like that kid a long time ago made, a nuclear reactor in a shed or whatever. And it was like, he's probably dead now. I hate to laugh at that, but this is one of the things you got to be careful of when you jump online. You see people doing stuff or demonstrating fake stuff based on, the real stuff. And then they go out and try it and they get hurt. And that's not something that I ever want to do. Good for you. Moving on. Oh yeah, you said that last time. I think it's because you want recognition of some kind. Go see your therapist. I'm not him. But yeah, as far as the person that did that, it was dangerous. They didn't know what they were messing with, and they literally irradiated their neighborhood. And it's like, you don't You don't do stuff like that. And we need a better source of energy, but hydrogen's where it's at when it comes to a new energy source. And they can't stop you from making that. You know? They can't stop you from doing the hydrogen. As long as you got the licensing, if you're storing it, that kind of thing. That's not what I mean. But if you're just like experimenting with it in the garage doing electrolysis, that's like akin to a science experiment in high school. I don't see how anyone could get in any trouble for that. Just don't be stupid, you know, common sense. The problem is people, they see something and they go out and they do something stupid. And that's, you know, and what's weird for me is like, that's what gets the most views, is when people go out there and they're just plain ass fucking retarded. Okay, I said it. I said the R word. Fuck off, YouTube. And don't be stupid. I don't see why these people are all walking around showing off their guns and shit with illegal stuff on it on YouTube, and they allow it. They fucking allow it. It pisses me off. Because if I did it, they'd fucking cut my whole channel down. And here I try to get monetized. Why? Because I want to keep going with the hobby. I want to keep giving you guys a safe, fun hobby to do. And design and create new things. But no, we got these idiots out in the fucking streets. You know, showing shit off, shooting at shit. You know, it's like with weapons you know aren't legal. And they're just like, well, it's the Second Amendment. No, it's the Second Amendment for a reason, not for your reason. Not for you to go out there and do this shit. And then you're getting paid for it on YouTube because you got so many damn views for it. It's bullshit. Anybody who's doing anything real science, real creation, something clean and fun, they're not getting recognized. Because we live in a wicked ass, stupid fucking world. That's why. And you know what? It's inundated with stupid people spraying Gorilla Glue in their hair, showing off illegal weapons. And what is YouTube doing about it? Not a fucking thing. Nothing. Why? Because they're getting revenue off of the shit. They're getting revenue off of it. So the money's more important to them than some other kid going out there and copying a reel where they get hurt with a weapon. That's what the fuck they're doing. That's fucking YouTube for you. That's social media in a fucking nutshell. So, yeah. Yeah, I get pissed off when I put out a video I really worked on and I don't get like 300-400 views. You know, and I've been printing and I've been designing and I've been CADing. I put stuff out there. But apparently all you got to do is either show cleavage or go out there and shoot a transformer. You know, it's fucking stupid. You know, I hope those people are in jail. I really hope they are. Because they deserve it. You know? It's like everyone's banking off everything. You've got war going on. They're banking off. Like, what do you do? It's like when you go in to watch it live on the news and it's about a war. It's disgusting to even see an ad. Like, you got to watch 2-3 ads before you get to the news about the horrible war that's going on because they want to make sure that they get paid first. I mean, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. You know? Because like some of the stuff that's flagged, where it's graphic or sensitive material, and they'll put it out there before the thing so they don't get banned or kicked off of YouTube or whatever. Those don't have ads. But other stuff that's almost completely like that. Right? Then they hook ads onto them to get revenue. It's like make up your, who's working there? It's like, Elon, go to YouTube next. See who's doing their job. Tear into YouTube. Because they've told me, here's one thing that's really funny. Like, you only need 3,000 watch hours to get monetized in the first stage, I think, where you can do like the super chats and things like that. And they just congratulated me for 5,000 watch time hours, but not apparently in enough time to be monetized within the past 365 days. That's some funny shit. That's like, you met the goal, but you didn't. It's like, what the hell? I have a monetized channel probably sitting out there I can't even get access to because I opened it with a fucking Yahoo account back in the day, and I can't even access it, even though I've proven myself over and over and over again that it's my email and my channel. And they're like, well, Google can't reconcile, whether they can't figure it out. They can't authorize you at this time. It's because Google is supposed to be the smartest search engine on the planet, but it's dumb as a fucking rock when it comes to figuring this stuff out. You can collect all of my data, all of my biometrics, what I look like, what I sound like, what I fucking smell like, what I eat, what I drink. It all comes up in ads on your screen when you're not even thinking about it. But they can't fucking identify you enough to give you your YouTube channel back? What the fuck? I mean, really? Ugh. So I had to pull down some of the videos from that. I had to kind of use my software to copy some of my good videos off of that channel so I could put them on this channel, because I can't get into that channel. Even though they know it's me. Yeah. Oh, Text Bomb asked what she was asking me, because I can't at the moment. But it's just hilarious to me that they can't figure out who. They can't verify who I am? Really? I've gone through it. I literally went through that process where they go, you have to wait a month. And then when you get the email in your Yahoo email box, then you click the link and then it verifies that it's you and you can have it. You know, you can have your channel back. So I did that 2 months in a row, and they still couldn't do it. Oh, Google's like, well, we can't verify your identity. What do you need me to do? Piss in a cup? I mean, what more do you need? I mean, it's obvious. I've given you the email. I've given you the password. I've given you everything you need, but you're Google. So what, you and Yahoo got a beef or something? Get it over with. Well, that's true. Yeah. People apparently have to suffer for people to see what's going on. And that's the bad thing. But half the time, they don't care. I mean, how quick is the IRS to tell you you owe them money? But how long does it take for you to get yours back? That tells you all you need to know. That tells you everything you need to know about government. It's not like government's bad, but it was to govern. It wasn't to control. And that's the issue. That's the issue. It's control. It's all about regulate this because they'll have to pay this. Regulate that because they'll have to pay that. Regulate all of these things because we only want us to have them as the controlling head of state or the country or whatever. But it's just dumb. It's like, yeah, they may not have read the Constitution clearly. I love how it shows. I don't know if that's accurate, but on my screen it says I have 9 viewers. 9. That's all right. Who gives a shit? I'm going to build this fan and make it work anyway. And if the only one that gets to enjoy it's me because nobody's looking, then their loss. because that motor mount's almost done. Hope you enjoyed that rant. Sure, I got another one stored up. But like I was saying before, I'm printing right now. This is all PETG, by the way, so I've kept everything the same materials. The only thing that isn't PETG is this reusable, versatile case. This ductwork, which can be used on any engine I design. Any of these engines I design. But you just unscrew it, take it out, put the other one in, and it works. So again, no, that's just for testing, so you can put this in. The great part is when I do, oh fuck it, let's take it apart. Let's take it apart and I'll show you. I can find my wrench. There it is. Okay. So let me reposition here so you guys can see what's going on, because I like a blur over there. Put that down here. Anyway, I love this thing. I use it to like sit my camera on. It's a container ship, or a container for a ship. Container ship. It's a truck container. Ah, can't even talk right now. But printed that out. It's a storage container, like literally a storage container. Oh, there's that piece I was talking about. Need that out here. Anything else in here? Okay. So we'll move you up over here. And we'll scoot you this way. Hold on, everyone. Okay. Let's do this here. Like a whole thing full of gears here. All right. So clear out this bin over here so I can put these all in one place. It'll work. Okay. So this gets obviously strapped down to the stand that it's sitting on, but it's not permanently attached to that stand. The stand is permanently attached to the deck that it slides on, but it's not permanently attached to the stand itself. I have to strap the thing down. And the reason why I started doing that, rather than putting dabs of hot glue on it to hold it down, was because I didn't want to have to constantly crack this off and damage it to get it off when I needed to change something out. So all I need is one of those electric handheld drivers, you know, make things a lot easier. But you only got a couple on each side, so. I will read your questions or comments if you have any after I've done this really quickly. Actually, let me see if the other tablet's charged. And then I can look at it. Be right back. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. All right. Hold on one second. Get this thing open here. Okay. Okay. There we go. And there we are. Okay. Now I can kind of see the chat. Yes, Buck, how you doing? All right. I see you're all here and excited for the teardown. This one isn't like Stubby Fan. It doesn't have all the internals that it did. It just basically has the main high pass. You can see that from the back. Possibly. I don't know. Can you? Yeah. And the reason for that was to decrease mass. And I discovered that that low pressure impeller that I just had put in there works well if I'm going to run an afterburner. But it doesn't produce a significant amount of thrust for the drag that it produces to make it viable. So we're going with a straight ducted engine here. Yes, I said engine. For that guy who commented a long time ago that says, if you call that an engine one more time. I don't know if he sounded like Hank Hill. I just kind of threw that in there. Okay, I wasn't holding that one. Interesting. Gotta get better tools. All right, let's see here. It's a little bit of a tight fit. Don't tell me I gotta take it out first. Oh, screws are a little longer than I thought. See it clear of that we know we're good. I think my front casing is, or my front motor mount's going to get in the way. So I might have to remove that, but I don't think so. Come on. Okay, well, expected. Oh yeah, I broke that one last time. So it's going to be an actual teardown. Now I can glue that back on. It's not working. Yeah, I may reprint this and make it thicker. Not supposed to come off like that. Hey, I'll just make that a section that I have to clamp on. Okay. Oh, I know why. Okay. It was dumb. Put glue on it on the inside. You see how I put dabs of glue, the hot glue on the inside? I don't know why I did that. So still usable, no big deal. CA glue, that's what it's for. And then I won't glue it in again. I'll set that over here. It's only one wall thickness because I was trying to save material anyway. So That's it. That's all there is to it. And you can see how it's held in through the back here. Silicone glue on there to keep them from backing out. And then on the back of this will, actually this is a good thing I did this. I'll show you. Oh, no, it might not fit on. Oh, it does. Okay. The new casing, this bolts on directly here. And then the motor, let me get you closer. The motor will sit, when in its new mount, it'll sit here with the carrier under it, and then that will rotate the 4 outers, and then that'll spin the internal, which is attached to the fan itself. So that kind of gives you a kind of an idea of what we're talking about here. I should be able to kind of slide this on here. Hold on. It's a different design, but it should still, or maybe it won't. Yeah, this isn't the mount for it, but the one I have designed is. So basically the idea is, now these legs come out and this part's partially gone here, and it comes down and bolts directly. I'll try and set it up there. It bolts directly to the outer casing here, all the way around. Plus it's indexed into the shaft marks that I have here. So it is sitting a little lower. And the carrier itself is actually sitting between here and there, and then indexes into here via the collet here. So this collet will actually engage the motor and be bolted to the carrier that goes into the planetary gears. So there you go. That will basically make everything CG kind of centered in the fan and give it that balance, and it'll make the whole thing a bit more compact. So that's what we're looking at. The motor over here, gear over here. But I mean, that's gonna look cool, right? Spinning. Good. So it's a simple design. You know, very simple. And then without this on the front, obviously, you'll be able to duct it differently. If you decide, well, when you set it inside of a plane, the idea is that you'll be able to bolt it directly to these mounting points in your engine. It's like, well, or in your plane. So you'd probably just take this and laser a hole out for the intake, and then just run some screws in through it and do it like make it either fiberglass or a ply, like a thin ply, for the inside of the body structure. And then you would build that out, and that's what the CNC was for, was to kind of cut those parts out. So you have those exterior frames that go out to the wing roots and all that other stuff. And then you create the channels behind it for your exit aperture. And then you have your intakes designed to go in this way, you know, here, kind of like in the Harrier. But you design your intakes to go around where you're going to hold all your other components, the motor, so on and so forth, is mounted in the back, so you don't have to worry about any obstruction here. And there you go. Now, Stubby obviously was much different in the aspect that this one was pushing an impeller with a turbine in it and an exit aperture here that I could rotate. So this has an impeller inside. No, I'm sorry. This is V1. This just has the standard You see the damage on this thing. You can see the low pressure turbine system in there. And you can see it from the rear as well. Let me go ahead and open. There you go. So you can kind of see it rotating in there. And the reason why I left that in there, the low pressure system, is because I was using a smaller kV motor. So the idea was any of the pressure that would have gone into the compressor was getting pushed through the low pressure turbine system, which was attached to the same shaft, like it would be if the compressor was there. But that low pressure air would alleviate torque off of the motor. So that was the original concept. So integrating that back in future models, if somebody wants to run a low pressure turbine system because they want to put something on the backside of the engine, like an afterburner fitting or whatever, then they can still do that because I have all these files already saved. So I have all the STLs for this, including the impeller that goes in there. So because I switched it to an impeller in the event you were able to get a higher RPM out of it, because the idea behind this now is this motor is going to basically push it to, if you do the calculations, the max RPMs is 36,000. That's the max. Conservatively, to not push it all the way through, we're going to go 32. And, oh yes, I'm sorry, I wasn't reading the chat. Yes, I am an engineer. The whole reason for this exterior front, like I said before, was for that the first planetary gear system. The second one, I leaned in more towards the thicker tooth base on the ring gear and made it to where I didn't have to remove it. So, or I didn't have to clamshell it because the teeth were straight. And since it's being held in from the back side from the motor and the front side from the index, and the bearing that holds the fan in place in the stator, there is going to be no forward or backward movement from the actual system, and regardless of how much force is on the fan, because like I said, 0.665 kilograms air movement per second gives us the ratio we're looking for. The gear system is 4:1. We're using 4 planetaries now instead of 3, which gives us a little bit more torque on the interface between the sun gear and the planetaries. It's a very simple, I went with a very simple straight design on the planetaries because I didn't want any more problems until I get a CNC machine. I've been looking at the Pocket NC. I think that'll work for me because the blade since I made the blade modular, so we could do each individual blade, CNC each individual blade, and the hub, then the Pocket CNC will work perfect. But it's $10,000. And that's on the low end of most CNCs. I just need a CNC. I need a 5-axis CNC. You know, something that can get these curves machined out. And that's what I'm waiting for. I'm going to try and get that eventually, and get this my shop set up to where I'm going straight from Fusion to that through whatever camming or post processor you plug into it. And then, you know, I don't have to worry about Chinese shipping machines that I can't really rely on because I don't know their constraints, nor do I don't even know what machine they printed this on. I don't. They didn't tell me. They wouldn't tell me. I don't know what machine they printed these on. I really don't. If I had the brand, I could probably look it up and I would have known at least a little bit more information about what I was dealing with, nor when I was finishing up the design to send to them. The problem is when I sent them the step, they couldn't extrapolate, or their machine couldn't interpret the step file or the IGES. I tried both. They couldn't do it. Their machines couldn't do it. Even though the curves are there, it is a solid body. They, for some reason, were getting it faceted because they told me to give it to them in step, so I gave it to them in step. And I tried everything, and they couldn't do it. Oh, you have intersecting segments. And I said, no, your interpreter has created intersecting segments. Okay, I have the curve on there. I have the BRB in the Fusion file. I could cam this myself. You know, just tell me what your machine is. I'll cam it out and send it to you. Yeah, but they didn't want to do that, so they went ahead because they just wanted the money. Do a quick run, send them out. It's exactly what you would expect from China. You know, make it quick, send it out. If it lasts, we don't care. We live at the other side of the ocean. What are they going to do? So when I buy motors that I have to buy from China or a Chinese manufacturer, I do it through Amazon. So when I burn the shit out of it, I can send it right back to them. It's just that simple. I'm doing this on a budget, so I kind of have to, that's how I have to play it. They sent me an Avian. Avian blew up. I think most people saw that video. No, PXD squared saw it. I wasn't even pushing. Oh, the 3D printer is, yeah, it's 3D printed. And it's an X1 carbon. This is the older fan. This is not the original, or the next one that you're going to see that's going to be pushing this fan. So that's going to look really good spinning. Hopefully it holds together. PXD squared, you've been around for long enough to see. I mean, you saw when Stubby Fan 1 tried to eat me. That was funny. Oh, shit. Never drop a tool on your tablet. Okay. This is another version of the fan with the cone. I went with the different design because of the indexing that I'm doing on the fan. Because this just looks too much like Madonna's left nipple. I mean, not now. You'd have to look at her knees. But my point is, you know, the cones, man. Anybody old enough, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the cones. You always wore them on stage. The funniest shit I ever seen in my life. It's like putting 2 dunce caps on your kitties. Made no sense to me whatsoever. Gotta get some tobacco. I'll be right back. Just stare at my fan. Alrighty. Oh shit. So any questions? Any concerns? Any observations besides some of the weird shit people are putting out here? Oh, and I was told about that too. Well, like literally told me. People are going to come in there and say stupid stuff. Like, and I'm not even going to acknowledge it because it's just ridiculous in some cases. But yeah. And we are going to make absolutely certain that we hit that 55-pound mark on that engine. If I get 50, I'll call it. That'll be good. But 55 is what I'm going for at the least. Well, I should say 55 is what I'm expecting. So, just to clarify. And I think the new gear system is going to work well because of the size of the teeth on this one compared to the other one. It's just going to be noisier. But at that many RPMs, I don't think you're going to notice. It may sound really cool. Okay, so what's the RPMs of a 20-volt DeWalt drill? What's the RPMs on that? Consider that, and then listen to this. You can hear the motor really about the same as the gears. So it's gonna be it's not gonna be too loud. I doubt you'll hear it over the fan. You may hear it over the fan. I doubt you'll hear it over the motor, because that motor is a 190 kV and it's got some torque. The Aztec death whistle. That's a good one. Oh, that is a good one. But yeah, 55 pounds if I do this twice. Now, I know everyone thinks this is crazy, that I'll never get there. And that's why I'm going to do it. This, I'm going to put 2 of these in a plane, and I am going for Mach 1. Most of you will laugh it up, but I've gotten this far. She made the gears from, hold on, maybe Clay or CJ, the baker, says, hey, quick question. If we made the gears that could act like propellers, do you think you could achieve flight with them? Just a random thought. I'm not sure exactly what you mean as far as making the oh, you're talking about the gears themselves? Yeah, probably could. More likely. I know, it was funny you brought that up because I made a an EDF fan for a 64 millimeter. I designed one on Fusion and I put it out on Thingiverse. And it ended up working for a guy working in HVAC. I'm like, how did you even use it in an HVAC project? He's all, dude, you saved my life, man. This is like the cheapest, like, this is the best thing ever. You made this, and it's perfect. Like, I made it for an EDF engine. He's using it for work. So I made somebody's life better. It puts a smile on my face to know that. To think that I solved somebody's issue without even thinking about it. And it took a load off of them, I see what you're saying. You're saying make a big gear and drive it directly as the fan and give it a gear shape of the fan. I don't know how much air it would push. It would have to be an extremely high RPM system in order to produce thrust, I would think. Yeah, this thing moves air, I'm telling you. A lot of it. And that's why I cannot wait to build the drone. Cannot wait to build the drone. So if this next gear set is going to give me what I need, then so I'm going to roll with it. I'm not going to CNC it. I'm going to see how long these gears last. I'm going to run them battery after battery after battery. Yeah, this could be. Yeah, this could definitely be used as a supercharger for sure. You want to force air? Put two of these on the top of your intake. Locking mechanism. Let's see. Oh, to get a gear to. Okay. Yeah, one of the things I was going to have to deal with was the same thing, was making sure the gears stayed where they are. But the way I've got this designed, the gears aren't going anywhere. Especially when I get the upper casing done, or printed out. When the upper casing's done for this, basically those gears are locked into place between the casing and the fan index, so it can't move back or forward. I've tried running CFD, but to be honest, I'm on an educational license on Fusion because I'm in school, so for finishing up my uh, degree. So once I get the full version, I guess there's a lot of things you can use on Fusion I haven't even seen yet. But CFD, I thought about running a CFD. It's just a matter of going from BRB to component and then making sure the components are set exactly where they are, and setting your contact points, setting your set points to run the study. But in my version on this simulation, on the simulation tab, I don't have a CFD study. I have a load study, but I don't have a CFD. There's a CFD plugin, but it's a little bit weird. Because CFD shouldn't be overly complicated, and some of them are. Hey, don't worry. I'll be here. Yeah. Yeah, I hear that, Baker. Yeah, this is going to be a 4-to-1 system. So you're looking at a 48 kilovolt or 48 volt motor, 190 kV, and then of course you've got to times the voltage by the kV to get the RPMs, and then you got to times that by 4, and then that gives me roughly 36,000 at the fan. I haven't tried FreeCAD or the other one. I'll have to check those out. Yeah, if you're new here, go and see if that Discord link is still good. I keep trying to refresh it, even though it says it's a link that doesn't expire, and I'm like constantly having to change the code. I cannot wait to run this fan. This is gonna be so cool to watch. That's gonna be awesome. Wonder what kind of optical illusion I'll get out of that fan while we're spinning it. Oh yeah, you know what? That's what I would like to use, because on my original Shrike drone, I was using that APD 500X, and since they stopped making it for civilians, and they stopped making it for the commercial, or the drone market. They stopped selling to the hobbyists and gone completely commercial. You can't get the 500X anymore unless you're LLC'd. And then at that point, you have to buy like a lot of them. But with this, the only reason why I needed that one was because I was pulling 80 amps, if not more, per 70 millimeter EDF on the Shrike. And I needed a 500 amp board to make sure that I could distribute the power evenly without spikes being a problem. But yeah, I would love to get a 500 amp power distribution board that'll hook up to a SpeedyBee F405 wing. I think it'd be very beneficial to have someone on board who does PCB and can design a 500 amp board that'll talk to it. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to talk to it. It's just more or less a power distribution system, but small enough to where I don't have to have I have a Taro. This is a 480. The Taro is 480. It's 12S or 6S. Well, it's 12S, but can be 6S. It just depends on how you wire it here. So yeah, I mean, something like this doesn't have a lot of the chips on it that the 500X does from APD. But realistically, all you're using is the signal wire from this to the SpeedyBee wing anyway. So the idea is just the signal wire, just to the signal wire on the other one. Well, I take that back. I went ESC to the power distribution board on the 500X, and then it's just the signal wire out from here. So the ESC will go straight into here and plug into here, and then you're just running the signal wire, and the ground is through here. It's through a general ground. You don't need to use the ground when you're running the SpeedyBee, because the ground comes through the power coming off the ESC, or coming off of the power distribution board to power the SpeedyBee F405, and you just use the signal wire for each motor to run each individual motor. So the Taro works as a replacement for the APD 500X, but it's much, much bigger than that, because the 500X, let me pull out the Shrike's nervous system. I haven't desoldered or taken the glue off of this yet, but you can see that's the APD. So it's much smaller than the Taro, but it's 500. So I would love to get a couple more of these, but again, you can't get this. And it's the PDB 500X. And then I've got my iFlight 80 amps for the Shrike. So I want to do the Shrike again, but it was always about having enough money to have more engines. So when I was redoing, or when I was working on the Javelin, I had to take apart the Shrike in order to start building the Javelin. And that's, where I started running into problems. I couldn't afford to keep getting the ESC. Those ESCs cost me $300 by themselves. I haven't tried integrating any kind of Pi Pico stuff in there, mainly because I was letting the SpeedyBee do it, and I was programming it with Inav. So I was basically just setting angle limits on the drone, because I'm not an acro flyer on drones. If I went into acro, that'd be it. No drone. But it limited the RPMs. So if I would have turned acro off and would have turned the Shrike 90 degrees vertical, it made it vertical instead of or horizontal instead of vertical. Pointed the nose down and it hit the throttle, that thing would have took off. Because you know how angle mode does, it limits those RPMs for the purpose of angle mode. I'll have to check that out, MicroPython. That could work. But I mean, as long as it works with, a, you know, an ELRS receiver and everything. Angela Clark, what the heck does that even mean, man? You're freaking me out. Are you like FBI or something? So, easier program as an expression, which is far away from actual reliable controls. Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll check out other control options, but at this point, the F405 wing does, at least with this system, when I implement it into a drone, it'll handle, you know, the engines just fine as far as controlling them. Now, how it acts with a motor that is basically stepped up 4-to-1 is going to be something new. Straight EDF, learning how to use Inav with that was one thing, but you know, that took a lot of understanding the, you know, the gyros, cutoff frequencies, and things like that. But I got it to work. I got it to fly, and it flew well. If you ever watched the Shrike V10 Maiden, it flew well. Getting the same results with Inav running a fan that is using a gear ratio to step up the RPMs may be different, or it may not make any difference at all, because it's going to go off of the gyro for level, it's going to go off of RPM speed and its current behavior to determine what it does next. So stabilization, I don't think, will be an issue. The standard way to use something real-time capable is read IMUs and drive motors, and then use an external board to implement high-level stuff. I see what you mean. Well, I thought about that on the RPM filters, but the engine is still going to be spinning at the RPM that the Inav is going to be reading. The result, the fan pushing air, isn't really going to do anything except put whatever torque it's going to put on the motor itself. So I don't see it affecting Inav's control over the motor, even with the gear ratio. I thought it might. That's something we'll find out together, so you'll all see it. But as long as the gyro is at a set altitude that it's supposed to be, and it's level in angle mode, I think that the gear ratio is going to make little difference in how Inav controls these motors. Yeah, I liked the design of the Shrike too. I loved it, and a lot of people didn't, and I couldn't figure out why. I was like, dude, listen to the sound of that thing. We're talking, It just sounds like a jet just hovering over the top of you. This is awesome. Yeah, that's true. The vibration frequency is something I'll have to fine tune because of the blades. But that's going to be, you know, the high frequency cut, low frequency cutoff, Q factor, unicorn factor, all that other good stuff. All in Inav. It'll get tuned. I'll tune it just like I did with the other ones on the strike, and it'll fly. It'll fly well. Reaction speed will be affected, but as long as there's tight tolerances on the gears, I don't see that it's going to make too much of a difference. I think if the gyro is programmed right, then that delay it can compensate for. I don't see why it wouldn't. Yeah, props, they always say props are more efficient, but you know my end goal in this, for my own personal goals, not this engine specifically, and not this project specifically, but for one of my main projects for developing an actual product. I wanted to make something that flew, that you could ride, that was legal, and that was not prop driven because, yeah, can you imagine everyone flying prop driven flying cars? And it being Black Friday? There'd be so many decapitations in that parking lot over at Target, I'll tell you. That's what would end up happening. That's what I'm trying to make EDFs. That way, if you all try to crowd each other, it just looks like a wood chipper went through. Yeah, to hell with props. Who needs a prop? But anywho, if you guys got some questions, toss them out there. Other than that, I'm getting too much more to say to this other than, as soon as I'm done assembling the other one, and realistically, the only thing I have left to print is the stator casing and the carrier. Not the carrier, the motor carrier that engages the planetaries. So the planetary engagement, the axle. Let's just call it the freaking axle, okay? And then a fan casing. So I got to print another one of these, mainly because I don't want to take this one apart, because I still want to do the experimentation with it with 3D printed gears. And just try to make this design here a bit more efficient so that it works better for this system. Because I can 3D print these right now, put it in there, and run this motor until I strip the sun gear. And if I don't strip the sun gear, it'll strip the planetaries. If I don't strip the planetaries, it'll strip the ring gear. It's just how it distributes force. So you end up, losing one or the other. So, and I realized that when I would mix different materials. Like I would go, okay, well, I'm going to do a nylon 6 sun gear, and then I'm going to do a PETG planetaries and a PETG ring gear, and I would lose not the sun gear, I would lose the planetaries. And then if I replaced all the planetaries with nylon 6, I would not lose the sun gear, and I wouldn't lose the planetaries. I would lose the ring gear. So that's all it was with that. It was material. I even thought about getting like PEEK, the PEEK, really high tensile strength plastic I could print with. But you need 350C at least on your printer. I think the Bamboo Lab will do that. I'm not certain. If it does, I'll try and print with Peak and see if I can get a gear ratio, or not a gear ratio, but gears that won't strip out I can put in there. But ultimately, if these were CNC'd correctly and to the tolerance that I need, they would fit in there perfect. And then it'd be awesome. I can't afford to CNC all these. You know, barely could afford to do the aluminum print that didn't work. So that you can tell how much of a kick in the nuts that is. Lilium? I don't know what that is. I know that there was one that was making a car with EDFs, like a flying car that held like the pilot and 2 passengers. But let's be realistic. We're in the United States. That thing better be able to lift a semi. And it had 64 EDFs on it. And I'm thinking, 64 EDFs? I mean, it's great for redundancy if one goes out on one side, but you could take all of those EDFs, put 3 stubby fans on each side and 2 at the rear, and get the same result. And then some pushers. And I thought, 64? What, like they're 120 millimeter EDFs maybe? You know, this is 170, 22 blade. And theirs were probably 12 blade or whatever. Probably a bunch of expensive Schubler motors. And they want $300,000 for that car. How in the world is anyone going to move forward in this world to do flying cars, to do electric vehicles, things like that, if they make it so expensive that you just can't do it? You can't. Then they want to blame people like me and my income level and be like, oh, well, you're not doing what you're supposed to do for the environment because you don't have an electric vehicle. Well, if you made one that wasn't as expensive as a freaking house, then I might be able to get a loan to get one. But I'm on vet benefits. No one's going to give me a loan. You know, I never used my credit, man. I was in war. I was in the military. Most of my young life, I didn't use credit anywhere. The military issued me everything I needed. I went to the PX and bought an Xbox. That was with cash. And that's when we had like the screens. Like there was these. We would go on Fort Gordon. I went to Fort Gordon for my comms training, and we went to the PX, bought an Xbox, got Call of Duty, the first one. And we had the screen on. It was like a screen that would snap on the top of the Xbox and would fold up like a mini CD player. And we could play Xbox in our dorm, you know, in our barracks. And then, like, you know, I'd lock it away in the foot locker when it was done. And it was just, that was fun. That was fun. But that's, I mean, I didn't have to use credit to buy any of that. I didn't build any credit because I was, you know, young. I didn't have any money to build any credit to begin with. I think, like, one of my first jobs when I started, I made $4 an hour, you know, back in the day. But that's when I could go to McDonald's and get a hamburger for 25 cents and buy a cup of coffee for 15 cents. A bottomless cup of coffee. I'd sit there all damn day and drink coffee. Yeah, that is the point. It's to change things for the future. That is the point. If any of my ideas lead to people developing something that helps in the future, then so be it. If I didn't make it, I didn't make it. So what? At least I got the idea out there. At least I got the concept out there, and I went, you know what? This is how you can do it. Somebody ran with it, made it better. Great. If it helps everybody else out, or if they even have fun just doing it as a hobby, That's what it's all for. So, oh, let me check my printer really quick. All right. Let's go take a look. I'm pointing towards the ground because I know how YouTube is about children, and I don't want to put my children on there and they're using my computer. This is the motor mount that's going on behind the casing. Right now it's rounded in support material, and you can see where it bolts to the outer casing behind the motor. So when the whole thing's done, you'll be able to see. Actually, I think you can see a small example of it right there, but it's kind of out of focus. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. And then after that, can you close that window right there? And then pull up the bamboo lab right there. I don't know what you just opened over there.
I don't know.
Go over to prepare for me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you opened up Fusion. That's what you did.
What am I doing?
Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay. Keep zooming out. Keep zooming out. Keep zooming out. Okay. No, not that far. Zoom back in a little bit. So what I did is that's the carrier right there. That's the motor mount. There's some other small pieces. That's the casing. That's the stator that I'm printing next. That's my gearbox, fan, so on and so forth. So after I'm done, I'm printing with this. I'll be printing this, and then I can print this, and then I'll print these small pieces, and then I'll put everything together, put the motor in. I'm putting carbon fiber rods through. Let me see my mouse really quick. I'm putting carbon fiber rods. Highlight. There we go. Carbon fiber rods are going. I can't do this. Hold on. Carbon fiber rods are going through this carrier. The motor's collet that I have out there bolts to here, and the carbon fiber rods go straight through here, which goes through each individual gear and the 10mm bearings that are all the way down it. So that being said, I know that's a weird looking motor mount. It looks like a moon lander, but it works. And that's the cap, and then this is the drive shaft here that I'm going to be using. That's going to go through the fan, all the way through the stator casing, through this shaft here, and then into the fan where it's indexed at the front. So that's how that's going to work. So let me go back to nice. This one's only got 2 hours left, so you can kind of see where we're at. It's looking pretty good so far. So, anywho, that's where we're at. Hold on, let me get the door. All right. So, all right, so what am I missing here? You guys are talking about something. Let's see. Different reason. The effect, okay, the efficiency change depends on literally everything. Packing two beefy EDF motors and the airflow is difficult. The gyro effect is canceled though. Yeah, I mean, well, when I was wanting to do the Cuddy Black, which is basically, and I kind of printed this up, this scale, just to kind of see how it was going to look. You've all seen this. Oh, half of it anyway. This is, let me try and turn this really quick. So, this is the big cutting black. It's a little dirty. It's been out in the rain a little bit when I was moving the garage around. But it's basically just a prototype, something I can, so if I put two big fans, one here, then it would basically negate the gravity that would be, or the weight on it. So 2 stationary fans running coaxial, clockwise and counterclockwise. And then I would have EDFs here, and the rear nacelles are actually, they articulate. So like on the small model, I don't know if anyone's seen the Cuddy Black or plays Star Citizen, but basically, one of my favorite planes. That's what I wanted to do. So I thought about taking, since the stator casing can be so small, and I can drive it from the top if I want to, then I could put 2 in there, and it would mitigate the weight of the entire system and allow the drone or the ship to fly as a drone without having to worry about weight. And that would be really fun, because if anyone knows the Cuddy Black from Star Citizen, please somebody in the chat tell me you do. Then you know seeing that thing flying around and going from VTOL to forward flight and then retracting its landing gear or closing its rear door would be the absolute shit. I'm telling you. That would be awesome. Yes, everyone who's gone to the Discord and joined up, welcome to DPC. We all love you. We love the support. You guys are wonderful. But other than that, that's where we're going, man. Bam! Get a bright shot of the fan. I can't wait to get this thing going. I'm excited about it. Gets me excited. Makes me want to go smoke a bowl. I mean, like jump up and down and celebrate. I'm gonna go smoke. You know why? Because the edibles are straight up crazy. I don't know what you guys are trying to get out of it in life, but damn. I'm trying to get pain control so I can focus and do what I have to do. Because I have a bullet hole in my leg. I have shrapnel in my right arm. I have a freaking huge scar on my left forearm from shrapnel. My back's messed up. Ruptured disc from having to carry so much damn weight. In the military over and over again. Tinnitus in my freaking ear that will not go away and not let me sleep. It's like the most unrelenting scream in the world. And it never goes away, ever. It's with me always. It's just something you get used to. Like listening to, you know what I'm talking about? Like turning off an old tube TV or something, or turning it on, you can hear that high pitch, like 2200 kilohertz whine. Imagine that in your ear really loud forever. And then you guys think I'm sane and everything, but if someone had to live through that, how sane would you be? I think I'm doing pretty good. It ain't a hum. It's not a hum. It's literally, I tried to frequency match it. It's above 2200 kilohertz or megahertz. And I can't hear anything else but that out of that ear. I can hear out of that ear, but that is a now neurologically programmed sound that I will constantly hear forever because of the damage to that ear. So, yeah. I'm telling you right now, it's not fun. After a while, you kind of get used to it. Then they just put you on clonazepam and high blood pressure medications because there's physically nothing wrong with you, but you're stressing so much, your BP's high. I mean, let's look at it this way. I'm in decent health. I'm 48. I'm going to be turning 49 this month. And I'm on the high blood pressure meds, but I have no physical ailments. I have no problems with my organs. None, my liver's fine. My kidneys are fine. Everything's fine. The only thing that's causing it that they can think of is literally stress. I said I wasn't feeling any stress. They said stress can manifest in different ways, and you're not necessarily going to feel it, but you'll feel the results of how it manifests, like high blood pressure or anxiety or something like that. And they said it's probably because I have that screaming in my ear all the time, and my spine is screwed up, and it's bad having a ruptured disc, especially when it slips out, and you now you can't even stand up straight because doing so hurts so much. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So stress is a problem. I'm telling you right now. If I don't think if I had the tinnitus that I'm having to deal with, and some of the pain that I do go through, that I don't think I'd have this stress, and I don't think I'd have this high blood pressure, because nothing else is wrong with me. Man, I've got perfect sinus rhythm. I'm, waking up, uh, check my oxygen, it's 100, and at night though it dips. They said I don't have an apnea, but when I sleep, my oxygen goes down to 94, sometimes 93. It stays around there. I assume that's normal, but when I get up, it automatically goes to about 100. It'll stay around 98 to 100. And I was smoking for 30 years. Now I stopped smoking in lieu of smoking a pipe, just to kind of get that oral fixation, and stop smoking packs of cigarettes. So I basically I puff on the pipe because I get good tobacco and that aroma and everything that kind of stops the cravings for cigarettes and things like that. Yeah, man. Like you and I are in the same boat. Grab a paddle, Clay, or Jay, CJ, the baker. I keep calling you Clay for some reason. You're only 22. Yeah, but okay. Is it working now? It's got to have sound now. How we doing? Should be up now. I ain't starting over, Buck. You can hear me now. Uh-oh. Hold on. The coyote's mad. What's he looking at? Are they on the property?
Yeah, there's 2 guys and 1 blonde.
Oh, forget it. They're fine.
Okay.
I'll just shoot a flashbang over there in a little bit. Trespassers. My coyote gets upset with trespassers. Flashbangs, yes. No, the husky's fine. The husky's like a derpy. Colt is awesome, but I mean, if somebody broke into my house, he would probably just play with them. But the coyote I got because she's a great guard dog. Oh, she's a coyote, still a dog, but she has very, very little husky on her, so she has like the face, but she's all coyote. The rest, so she has like the Ronald McDonald mask on, but other than that, you can tell just by looking at her, she's coyote. But she keeps people around. She does not. She's very protective, like super protective. See, I can do it too. Yay. They weren't on my lawn, but they were on the property across the street, which is also mine. So it's an old winery, and I have to keep people off of it because it was built during Prohibition, so there's like tunnels and cisterns, all kinds of stuff underneath there it's totally full of water, but there's 30, 40 feet down for the auger pits and everything and they don't get it. They're like, oh, we want to come over here and play. I'm like, there is a fence around this property. What part of that did you not get? You know, you see a fence, says no trespassing, and you're like, oh, we'll trespass. You know, now if it's just kids and they're just like looking around and stuff like that, as long as they don't try to get into a building, you know, I'm okay with it. But as long as I'll just kick them off the property. But for the most part, some of them try to sneak into the building, and one of them set the alarm off. And so I opened up the door, and my coyote, she just about wanted to tear him up. I was like, you got to calm down, Vivian. She is mad. She does not like people coming up to the house or getting on our property. So, best thing in the world I ever did was get a dog that was literally almost all coyote. She is, because you know how huskies are, they scream like they're freaking being kidnapped. But she doesn't. You could tell. I want to see if I can get her in here. Vivian, come. Bring Vivian here real quick. She's still skittish, just like a regular coyote.
I'll carry her.
Come here. Come here, sweetie. You're not in trouble. Come here. Colt, get back. Watch out for Colt. He's going to knock you down. Come here, Vivian. Come here, Vivian. Come here. Come here. Oh, come here. Come here. We're going to show you to the people. Come here. Come here. Come here. Say hi. Come here. No, come here. No, we're not going in yet. I know you're skittish. It's okay. Come here. You want to say hi to everybody? Hey. Come here. Say hi. You're not camera shy, are you? She wants to go back inside because of food. But yeah. She's beautiful, though. Vivian, you okay? You want to go back inside? Okay, you ready? Ready? Here's the sound. Go. All right. That's a pretty cat, he said. No, Coyote. Not Wolf. Now, Colt is something else. Hold on. Stare at my fan. Colt, come here. Colt! Come. Come. Come here. Yeah. Here, give me the... Toss it to me. Oh, gosh, you missed. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Colt, come here. Come here. Come here. No, 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 no. You're not going after her food. Come on. Come on. Say hi to the people. Come on, big back. Come here. Come here. Come. Come. Come here. You want to go back in too? It's because people are eating in there. Look at this guy. He's freaking huge. So we know he's mixed. Man, let me see your face. Let me see your face. Let me see your face. Come here. You're a good boy. Good boy. Good boy. You want to go inside and get the food? Is that what you're waiting for? Turn the handle. Push it open. Go. You know, use your feet. You know how to do it. Open it up. You do it to the back door all the time. Go, push. Push. This is what I'm talking about. If a robber broke in, I'm dead. Well, not really. But, all right, go. Fine. Oh, they're funny. Now Colt is mixed with, we think wolf, but we don't know. So, but he's big, bigger than most huskies. I mean, he is. You saw him from the top. That's a thick dog. And I haven't seen any. I mean, a lot of huskies that have that kind of heft to them, you know. So it to me, it's like what is he mixed with? But I rescued both of them, you know, from a shelter. So they have Vivian down as a Siberian Husky, but he's not, because she hasn't made one husky noise. She's made a lot of coyote yelps, especially if there's a cat in the yard. But other than that, that's pretty much the noises she makes. So, and if she finds something in the backyard, like an animal or something, like a bird or something that she's chased down, or sometimes we'll get jackrabbits out here. She'll chase them down, and she will do all kinds of stuff, like all coyote stuff when she's killing it. Do I fear death? Do you fear that? What is this? That's pretty good. It has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. Some people, I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm printing the motor mount for the next gear set that I've done. The motor mount and the index. Everything else that attaches to the gear shaft. And this thing came out so freaking cool. I love it. Oh, you know what I can do? Let's do this. This might be a bad idea. Famous last words, right? Hold on. It's spinning the wrong way. Hold on. My drill don't like spinning it, that's for sure. That's pretty cool. And then so, yeah, basically the carrier is going to index to here, and that'll spin this fan, which is going, this will end up spinning the fan via a shaft like this. So dun, 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 rubber plane with indestructible props. I had this on the P-51 and crashed it so many times. The entire plane was destroyed. But the prop survives because I printed it out of TPU for the AMS. Rubber plane! Rubber plane is indestructible. So yeah, that one's going to be fun to fly. That's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Just waiting for the 4mm rods to get here for the wings. What's going on in the chat? You guys like fighting it out or something? Oh, no. I see what's going on here. It's a troll. Don't worry about the trolls. They hop into lives that they see and they want to start talking shit, but they're behind a screen, so they feel safe. Even though I'm military and still have satellite access. But other than that, you know, go ahead and keep mouthing off. I'm giving you the attention that you're seeking right now because you weren't held enough. You're all ready to leave? Okay, bye. Have a nice flight or whatever the fuck you're doing. I don't care. Yes, I am going to get more nylon 6 and do these in nylon 6. Just because I think it's going to give me the... If the PETG fails, you know, what's going to end up happening is... I think I'm going to get a much higher RPM out of this one than I did those smaller gears. So that and the fact that I'm going to do them in nylon 6 is going to be pretty reliable, I think. If I can avoid printing anything in metal and you got a fan that's going to work for you, then I've done my job, you know? So, yeah, definitely nylon 6 has come back into this. But I do want to try Peak. I want to try Peak because I think I can print it with the Bamboo X1. And it has a heated chamber, obviously, so I think it can handle the temperatures of Peak. So that's what I may do, is print it in Peak. And then avoid this this unfortunate, expensive mistake. Is Michael still hanging around, talking to anybody, harassing him, touching himself while he's doing it? Fucking. Again, sometimes when people come in, it's like, is that what you're doing today? Like, it's a Tuesday. You got school or work? No. You're just going to sit around and try to bug the shit out of people online and, like, you know, get a rise out of them or whatever. Yeah, this message is held for review. I bet it was. I'm not even going to read that one to you. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a douchebag. But that's the attention they wanted right there. They wanted recognition and attention so they could continue on with life, I guess. Yeah, I'm seeing stuff that you guys aren't seeing. I'm like literally seeing posts from people that, you know, or chat messages, and it's asking me to review it. So I just automatically know that they're just douchebags that are trying to get attention. It's funny, though. It is funny. Because if that's what you're doing, I mean, if that's what's entertaining you right now, then you're probably on the fucking Epstein list. So, yeah. Don't be a fucking idiot. You know, hang around, have a conversation, talk about what we're doing. I love it when they try, though. Was it spinning that fast? I honestly don't know what the RPMs were on that drill. I never looked it up. It was a drill. I didn't really care. But it looks cool. And it's spinning. Although I doubt you're going to see the color differential. You might while it's spinning at like roughly 30,000 RPMs. So that'll be fun. You know, I was realizing I was going through the lives. Not mine. Just I was somehow I got onto a page on YouTube where I was talking, or it was just live after live that people were jumping into, and you scrolled up like reels. I didn't even know you could do that on YouTube. I've been creating so long on it, I haven't even viewed it that much. And sometimes it was people just like, you want me to chug water? I'm like, what's he doing? And it's like 130 people watching him or something like that to chug water. I'm like, good on you. Have some water. Why are people watching this? Probably the same reason people are watching a fan sit here while I talk. But it's just some of the things that I see that people really invest their time into that have so much money. And, you know, hey, I apologize to everyone for not having the cleavage to show off like most people. You know, the girls get on here, you know, you see, how many views do girls get on YouTube as opposed to people putting out content like this? I mean, it's just, it goes to show the state of the world we're in. It really does. It's like YouTube doesn't even know that they're literally, I mean, they know what they're doing. They're exploiting females on here. And they're getting the views and they're pushing them and they're putting ads on them. That's what they're doing. They're exploiting the females. And the females know it because they're getting paid for it. So, I mean, what is this? Digital prostitution, YouTube? I mean, seriously? Why don't you push some smart content? And then maybe, you know, the world will be better for it. You know what I mean? I mean, I hate to say it, but people in China, when they were using TikTok, they were showing their accomplishments. They were showing their projects. You know, sometimes their bands and stuff like that or whatever. Well, no, that's the Koreans. But the Chinese, they were putting their accomplishments out there. They weren't, you know, friggin' jumping off of a roof onto a table or trying to chug a sparkling water. Yeah, sparkling water. Yeah, I bet most of them chug sparkling water. But the point is, when you promote stupidity like that, and you're making money off of it, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I know I'm trying to get monetized for this stuff so I can keep going on it and keep doing the projects, but I'm not gonna keep quiet about it. They're extorting women, and they're extorting blatant stupidity for money. What does that say about the people who are running YouTube right now? What does it say about them? It says a lot. It says that they care about their bottom line more than they do the quality of their content. And that's damn near biblical. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, I think it's stupid the way that you think about it. If I had a girl in this video, my age, of course, a really pretty woman on camera, but my wife won't let me do it because she doesn't want me to put her on camera. I guarantee you I would get millions of views out of it. Millions. But, yeah. Cats. No, not cats. Yeah, that's the thing. I am trying to get monetized for a good reason. It's educational stuff, just like you're saying. And, but all that, what is it called? NSFW stuff? I'm going to assume that's some kind of mindless content, or you're just paraphrasing. But yeah, they just do all that stuff, and or the people that are eating themselves to death, gorging on stuff, and they're getting paid for it. Like, it's like they're like, well, we got the good life because we're getting paid for doing this. I'm like, the good life, and then you hear in the media or the news that they died. Oh, not safe for work. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, they did. I think that YouTube, they know what's going on, and they just continue to do it. They just keep doing it, and they don't care because they're making money. And you can see how long my channel's been up and how long I've been trying to get. Yeah, people want 3D printers. That's cool. That's fine if that's what you're doing, and like they're playing music or whatever. Or not, copyrighted stuff, but all my stuff I had to buy licenses for. So I use a lot of Adobe stock. So I'm promoting some of the artists that are in there. And I'll run a print. Maybe I'll run a print when I do the stator casing and let you guys watch that. But to be honest, I'd be happy just to go onto a live where it's a sunset, you know, just a beautiful sunset or a sunrise or some really cool weather or something like that. You can use Tom McDonald's music with no license? Oh, that's right, because he's not part of an agency, isn't he? He's like doing it all himself. I'm always afraid I'm going to get a copyright strike. I don't want to do that because it's just going to mess me up. You know? But hell yeah, I'll use his music. That's just great. He's just speaking the truth. Yeah, he's speaking the truth. That's what I'll be doing. How about we print to some of that music? Get his album out and start printing it. Printing and then because when this is done, I'm gonna do the stator casing and I'll probably stream it. You know, just for fun. So that's what we're gonna do. Yep. Damn right. And I just put hold on. I'll try and show you. I'll see if I can show you. Hold on. There's my cleavage for you. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to sneak out so that the Huskies don't follow me. They're going to try and follow me. Really, guys? Come on. No, no, no. Girls, can you help me really quick? Stay here. You're not going out there, boy. You're not going out there. I'm just grab them and pull them back. Yeah.
Okay, English.
Especially Colt, or he's gonna bolt out, and then Vivian's gonna try and eat somebody. Hold on. Just hold on. I'll be right back. Yeah. They're getting mad. All right. I just got these put up because they were getting kind of weather worn. And right there, baby. Templar. That means God wills it. That's exactly what that means. So, but yeah. Well, here's the building I'm always having to take care of. That's what my property over there. The problem is, I don't want to get any cars on camera. Hold on. The problem is, they keep trying to get into this building here, and that's the dangerous part. There's a lot of dangerous parts over here. These are really thick concrete vats that we used. And then over here, there's a lot of holes. That building's partially collapsed already because of the last storm. And over there, there's plenty of holes to fall into where no one would ever find you. So, yeah. Ooh, check that out. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Cool. Some aviation for us, right? That was neat. All right. Get my butt back in the house. Because they're probably still holding the dogs. Stare at my memento mori. Oh. No. Stay there. Jeez. When Coyote gets out, that's it. No, Colt, what are you doing? No. You gonna say hi to everybody? No. Nope. All right. Wanna go outside? All right, you can go outside. Come here. Baby, you need to go? Oh, no, the Chihuahua does, though. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Hold on. Sorry. All right, go. Find an animal. All right. So, yeah. Vivian, do you want to go outside? Come on. Let's go. I know. Good girl. Go eat a cat. All right. You guys are getting the tour of my house for the most part. Oh, she doesn't like it when I close the door on her. Hold on. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Do you still need to go outside? No? You good? Okay. The Chihuahua. Get your furry little burrito ass in here. All right. All right. Hold on. Let's go back in the house. Look, a vacuum. It sucks. Go, 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 go. Go. You too, furball. All right. I'm surprised we still have a Chihuahua having a Coyote in here. All right, so yeah, I just put those flags up because I have them. I retire them when they get weathered, and then I will put up new ones. But yeah, so yeah, I hope that was mildly entertaining for some people. So, anywho, I think what I'm going to do is go in and eat because I haven't yet. It's already 4 o'clock. And then I'll get a live going in a little bit with the stator casing, which is going to be this part right here. This whole part. And then the fan casing will come later, but I may or may not stream that. But other than that, I appreciate y'all stopping by, those who did. And be looking for that live. I'm going to set that up. That'll be going through my streaming software. And we'll get some music going on it and just print that stator casing. Yes, Tyler, welcome. It is all 3D printed. And it is one of the first versions that I'm doing. And this will be one of the other ones that I'm doing next with a new planetary gear system that I am going to be using. As I knock everything down. Hold on. And it's being pushed by this motor. So, that was slick, wasn't it? Oh man, I'm telling you. I know, I need weed. No, I've created them, Tyler, so they're not up yet. But if you, I don't know if you've seen any other videos that I have, but there is a buy me a coffee link down there. You don't have to buy me a coffee. I think I have the Shrike files up there if you like the Shrike V10. These files will be available. But I have to perfect everything first so that I'm not sending you guys out something that isn't going to work. That's going to be a components list and everything else. I think the Shrike is up there for $3. And then it does have the component lists of everything that I'm using to drive it. And it is an EDF drone as well. So, but once these files are completed, once I'm done with the design and everything works properly, you know, hey, you're gonna be able to build this yourself. This is a 170 millimeter 22 blade high pass EDF. And it is running a 48 volt 150 amp Fly Dragon ESC with two 70C 22 volt packs run in series. And that's pushing a Flip Sky 6374 190 kilovolt 48 volt motor. So once everything is completed, I will also put out the components list. It also needs its own separate BEC because that Fly Dragon 150 amp does not have a BEC on it. So once I get everything done, I will get everything down on a components list for everybody. I'll put up the files probably on the same place on the Buy Me a Coffee link. And then I'll give them to you guys so you can have some fun with them. I recommend PETG for the material. If you decide to do your own duct work around it, or you want duct work, I'll include ductwork files. If you're looking for a mounting solution for something specific, just let me know, and you know, you can just email me and just say it's about the fan or about Stubby Fan, and I will get you a mounting solution designed up for you. I want to do what I can to help. So it won't be too long before these files are up and available for you. And then the components list. And then I will talk everyone through the assembly. I think when I do assemble this next one, I'll do it live so that everyone can see what's going into putting it together. And then I'll pop it into my, you know, casing over there, which is which I broke a little bit of, but that's fine. That's what CA glue's for. And then you know, I'll make it available, like I said, when it's all done. I don't want to put out anything that's not going to work for you. So the idea is that this is a drop-in system for whatever it is you're planning to do with it. But you are going to get roughly 50 pounds of thrust, 50 to 55 pounds of thrust with this setup, with these components, at 32,000 RPMs. So again, go to my page if you like, and my email is there. Get that. You can email me directly and say, I would love these files. I want to put it in this. You know, I need some kind of mount. Like I said, I'll help you out as best I can. It just gives me more practice in fusion. So, and I want to help the community, and I want it to grow. So Tyler, thanks for being here. It is unfortunately close to the end of the stream, but I will stream the, like I said, the stator casing here shortly. So be looking for that. Thank you all for being here. I love you all. Love the support that I do get from everyone. And I will see you pretty soon. Have a wonderful day.